Hey everybody, my name is Cameron Benyon, and today on Young Money Investments we are going to be talking about the crazy market that is going on right now. We are on track for the worst December on record, the worst December since the stock market has been tracked, and one of the worst months, that we have seen on record as well. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about my thoughts, my feelings, what I see with the market as a whole, and where I'm going with some of my longer positions. So stay tuned, we're going to cover that right now in Young Money Investments. Alright guys, so like I said, I want to talk about the crazy market that we have been having. So this is going to be for a lot of you that are my long-term investors, those that see the future maybe 2 years out, 3 years, 5 years out, and kind of want to see what I'm talking about, because right now, let's take a look at some of the data and see what the charts are showing in terms of how bad the markets have been for the month of December, and just in general, since probably the end of September, we have just been getting crushed. And let's take a look at that really quick. Alright guys, so taking a look at the numbers right now, as you can see here, I just went to Google, did a quick search and typed in worst months in stock market history. And one of the first articles that pops up on here is going to be a foolish take by the Motley Fool. And this is an article kind of about this being one of the worst months in a decade. If you take a look here at the chart, you're going to see some of the worst months for the S&P since 1985. You can see in 1987, October, we had a massive drop. That was just a horrible, actually one day the whole market's just friggin' tanked horribly. As you can see in October of 2008, again, that was during the housing crisis that we experienced about a decade ago. We had that massive slide. If you also look at 1998, we had August, we had a slide of about 14.6%, and December, this being the worst December in the history of them tracking the stock market here in America, and that was a negative 12.4% so far. September of 2002, we had an 11% drop. February of 2009, we had another 11% drop. So all very ugly numbers. Now in terms of seeing what those look like, you do see some other articles on here. You see the stock market collapse on Christmas Eve, heads up for worst December ever. Dow plunges in worst Christmas Eve for stock markets in history as Trump blames feds. Let's see, here's how the stock market has fared as similarly brutal losses in a quarter, etc. And that is where, I also want to look at this one right here. Market staged one of the worst Christmas Eves ever, closing down more than 600 points as Trump blames Fed for stock losses in a tweet. This is all great, but we need to take a little deep breath here in terms of looking at these numbers. So in terms of looking at the numbers, this is really what I think is important, is looking at it from a long-term approach, right? There are going to be obviously 3-year and 5-year periods of time, and let's just kind of get into this chart and I can kind of explain why it's important to look at the long picture and look at the long run and kind of see why this opportunity might be a good buying opportunity. So we're going to switch over to the screen again one more time, and we're going to pull up the Market Watch table here. This table, I think, probably does the very best job of explaining some of the worst quarterly performances we've had and what's happened on a 3-year and a 5-year basis, and also a 1 month after. So looking at this over the past almost 100 years or so, you can see June of 1932 had a quarterly performance of negative 37%, almost 38%. September 1931, again, negative 33%. You're looking down here, December of 2018, quarterly performance is a negative 17.1%, which is huge. As you do scroll down here though, this is where I think it becomes to be interesting. There's horrific, very bad quarters, but this is some of the averages. If you look here, June 1932 again that we just talked about, 1 year later it was up almost 162.9%. 3 years later, 170%. 5 years, 344%. You look again, if we talk about another time, let's just take June 1962. you were down negative 20%. 1 year later, you were up 31%. And then 3 years, 69%. 5 years, 94%. There are a few on here. You do look at June 1930, you were negative for the quarterly performance. You were negative a year later, negative 3 years later, negative 5 years later. That did take a long time to get out of. You can look at December of 29 again. That was another down year. And then if you do look right here on the charts, again, you're looking at some of the S&P 500 charts since 1940. You're going to see an average drop in these massive drop years of negative 20.5%. You're going to see 1 year of a drop of 23%, or sorry, a positive return over that course of that year of 23%, and then 3 years later, a return of about 50%, and 5 years later, almost 100% return. These are very important to look at. This I will actually put in the description and link this as well. The reason I think that is so important to remember in this time, especially around the holidays, because you do not want to be down, you don't want to be depressed, you don't want to be thinking, man, what is going on? I hate life, I hate the stock market. Because the reality is this is almost the best time to buy. This is what I have been waiting for as a long-term investor for so long. It would be nice to just short the heck out of this, have pulled out at the very top, and then just made money going down, and then make money going up. But the reality is that's not the way most of our brains work. We cannot play every single side and every facet of that. It would be great, but we find our niche, and my niche is long-term investing. This is going to be a good time. If you can learn to buy at these prices, look at the PE, the profits to earnings ratios of these companies, you see them having a good long-term value, this is the time to buy these. So didn't want to make a long video. I wanted to keep it short at this holiday season. I hope y'all are having a great time with your families. I'm going to try to get this video up. Today is Christmas Eve, but I had to get this video out there because the market had such a drop. Thanks so much for tuning in to Young Money Investments. And again, if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section. Hit that thumbs up, that positive thumbs up button if you think I deserve it. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notification on. That will let you know every time I'm uploading new videos. So love this analysis, and I think it gives me a lot of peace and comfort knowing that in the long run, if you buy during these down times, like Warren Buffett, you're going to be prosperous over the long run. So thanks so much for tuning in to Young Money Investments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.